Just while we're waiting to go live on Instagram there, we're just going to pan in on a lovely range of summer bulbs that we're going to demonstrate today, how to get fantastic summer colour for your garden. Welcome to our summer bulb collection from the Agapanthus in Carlow, and everything I'm going to be showcasing today is available in Carlow, Loughlin Bridge or Kilquay, and also in our online store. So there's so many colour and so many choices that you can have for all summer colour, and I'm going to start off with probably one of the most fantastic range is the dahlias. I'm going to come out now and show you the different types of dahlias that we have. The dahlias are so fantastic because you can see that you have the collection over here that will flower for 100 days. And the dahlias will flower for 100 days because they start from late June right through until frost in September, October. Now again, there's all different sizes and different types. You can have them for the patio container. You can see lovely small little ones there now. So again, for tubs. So again, we have all these different tubs. Lovely range of L-hole pots here now. Again, lots of different colours that you can use. One little tip before you plant them, drill holes in the bottom. I'll show you that later on. Now again, as I said, they're in all different sizes and different types. This one is a lovely fringe dahlia, and it's a lovely new one there, you can see. And again, the heights range from say 30 centimetres right up to 4 to 5 feet in height. So again, I'll show you, there's lovely combinations there here, which is great. So here when you often people say, what will I put together? How will I choose them? This is taking the work out of choosing the plant. So again, you can see it's written on the label, lovely combinations. So again, here's another one. Beautiful colours there. Again, matching colours. And then we have the singles then. The singles then are lovely for attracting the bees and butterflies. And we'll go back around here. Colour themes. So if you want some pink theme in your garden, what they've basically done here is taken all the different types of dahlias. On the pack, you can see the different types of dahlias and different sizes and heights. So they put a collection together that will take the work out of you picking them. So you have a red theme, you have a lovely wine theme here, Begonias, and then you have lovely yellows. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how dahlias are potted up and how to look after them. Questions we usually ask about dahlias is how deep do you plant them, where do you plant them, and how long will they flower. So again, I'm saying flowering period, going to flower from late June right through until the frost. So I have this little patio one here, a lovely colour there now, you can see there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what they look like, how they're planted, what way they go in the pot. As I say, here's one I prepared earlier. So basically, these are what we call the tubes. So can you see the tubes there now? There's 3 in a packet. And often people ask us, what way did they go? Did they go this way? Did they go? What you can see, last year's stem. And imagine it like a hand. And that's the way you imagine it. All the days, basically like a hand facing down, like fingers. And each one of those is the energy to make the flowers. That's one plant. There's another. And there's a third. And so what I'm doing, you can see the compost there, just having about 2 inches down into the pot. So just push them down. I'm sure that there now. Now again, if there's any little pieces that fall off, they're going to produce plants. Alright, so again, pop them in. Now can we see that there now? What I'm going to do now is cover that over. Now I'm going to put it over here. Bear with me a sec, just cover with compost. Now just. And what we will do on Instagram later on, we're going to come back to these and show you what's going on so you can see how you manage through the season. That's it up there. So what we do is cover it over. Now, with dahlias and begonias within the same bracket, they're not frost hardy. So this time of year, you start them off in pots and then you can plant them out in the garden when the frost is gone. Often people say to us, when can you plant them out? We say the 3rd week in May when the frost is gone is when you can plant them out. Now, where could you put this now? If you have a glass house, a tunnel, they can go into these then. But when the plants start shooting up, if you have late frost, then make sure and cover them over. So this one now is a low-grown one, so it won't need any plant support. Alright, so there's nothing really required in that. So what I'm going to show you now, if you have plants that are actually taller varieties, they would need a support of the days. Then. So what you do, water that and pop it somewhere in a nice tunnel or glass house. Alright? Or if you have a bright garage with a window, you can go in there. Alright, we'll show you later on what that's going to be like. But to come over here now, I'll show you plant supports. Often it's said to us, when do you put the plant supports on? Most people tend to come in looking for plant supports when the flowers are actually falling over. That's the incorrect time. When you plant the bulbs, put the plant supports over them. Again, they come in a host of different sizes and for different heights. They're smaller ones. I'm just using pots to show them so they stand up. You can see this is the natural with the plant support then again. So there's two in that pack, just natural rust. And I think the rust is actually nice in the garden as well, very natural. Again, lovely big wide frames. And then we have ones here again. So this one's a plastic coated. Now, feed-wise, anything in pots and containers, we say from when they start to grow in the summer, you can actually give them the feed with slowly scrambled. These little pellets, and basically what they are is a controlled fertilizer. And this is beautiful for anything in containers because you don't have to guess how much to put on it. So you apply this around April, May when the plants actively grow, and that will feed it for the whole season. Now again, Dahlias can be very hungry feeders, so again, what I tend to use liquid tomato feed. Every alternate water. So 1 week I will give them water, next week I will give it water and feed. And again, if you see that any yellowing of the leaves, tomato feed. The tomato feed can be used for anything that's found in the garden. So very easy to look after. So again, it's a question that we're always asked, when do you feed Dahlias? So feed them when they're actively grown. And that applies for any bulbs during the growing season or when they're dying down, it's time to feed them. Now, looking after Dahlias. So again, if you want to, when you have flowers on Dahlias, if you want to produce more flowers, deadhead them. So basically what deadheading is when you have a flower, I'm just going to go over here. And that's a nice big Dahlia there. What you do, get your secateurs just below the flower head and cut the flower head off. And what that will do, it will stimulate more flowers. If you leave them, they'll start producing seed and you get less flowers. So again, deadheading the flowers will keep them nice flowering all season long. Now, that's the Dahlias. So the next thing then people ask about Dahlias is what happens when the frost comes. Now, they're tubers, so they are frost tender. So when you get the first frost, which is usually around September, that's the time I dig them up. And when you dig up the tuber, what you do then, you'll store them inside in just a moist compost in a frost-free environment. Again, in a garage or a shed, but make sure it's frost-free. And then you can bring them back out in the spring when it warms up again. Now, again, there's lovely Dahlias for attracting the bees. I'm going to have little packets over here at the front of all to show you. So again, there's these lovely collections here, and Dahlias are included. These are a nice gift for Mother's Day, a little packet. It's nice and hessian sack. So again, you can see those lovely gift. Now, just regarding ease of again, you see the lovely shades these where they mix the combinations for you, so they're taking the work out of you. And I was back to saying what I said, 100 days. But don't let that put you off the other days because they'll last the very same. But that's a continuous supply of flower and great for cut flowers and they'll flower all summer long. See again, these lovely gift bags, which are the bees again. So they're really attractive. This is a selection of summer flowering bulbs again. Different varieties on the packet there. So again, they're guaranteed to flower all summer long. Now, if you want something easy with bulbs and you haven't planted bulbs before, this is a great new invention. Basically what they've done, they put colour collections together and all the bulbs are in this little, like basically an egg box. You see the back of it, all the bulbs are in it, and all you have to do, peel off the top and simply plant it in the garden. And then you'll have an array of different flowers. So they've worked out the space and how much to do it, you don't have to worry about it because it's all done for you. So really handy idea again. We have this is an orange collection. So it's all spaced out, so there's no guessing. So with the different bulbs, you will be asked, the questions usually asked is how deep do you do them? Each packet will tell you the depth it goes and the spacing, because it depends on the size and the variety of the one that you're planting. But there's so many different types of dahlias. I'm just going to show you these here to give you some idea. There are so many. See, it's a lovely cactus. And that's a lovely spiky dahlia. All different colours, yellows, reds, pinks, whites. And this is a lovely dark one here, Arabian Night. And that's a decorative dahlia. And then these ones are like little pom-poms then. So really good for cut flowers. And so the next one I'm going to go into then is begonias. And begonias are really stable diet for containers, hanging baskets. Here's a begonia, but we have in the centre of our hanging baskets, and they will flower all summer long again. Very, very easy to look after. Again, making a feature within the container. Now, begonia is what we call a tuber, so you can see what it looks like. This is a large one. With begonias, you can see you have trading. This one is the cascade there now, it's a trading right. See the size of the tuber? So you know then the size of that is a smaller one, so it's going to be smaller size growing. And this is, you can see the size of this. With begonias, they need to be firm to the touch, not soft, okay? And again, we're asked, what way do you plant them up? You have the rounded side, and you have like a saucer. Begonias do not like water sitting in the top here. So when you are watering, water to the side, don't water overhead. So they'll soak up the water from the compost. Again, you have double reds. So you have frilly ones there. Now, this one, you're probably wondering what this one is. This is a fantastic one. It's called Million Bells. So you can see the flowers there. What that one plant is going to produce. And literally the name Million Bells produces masses and masses of flowers. Begonias don't like really strong, full sun. They'll get sunburned. They're quite happy in sun, but if the midday sun, if you water overhead and the water's underneath, the wilts go. So I say, give them a little bit of shade. And they are hungry feeds again. So remember your tomato feed. I find if you don't feed begonias, they get very hungry yellows and keep producing the flowers. Again, when the flowers are fading, deadhead them and they'll keep coming on. Now, another whole pot I have here. Now you could put this in a hanging basket, but I thought again, it would be just boring. This is lovely. I like to put the contrast of the pot. So this is going to be red against the grey. So I'm going to pop this in here. One is all it requires in this pot here. You know, so just cover it over with compost. Now, this over here. By the way, these scoops I'm using, they're edibles, really handy. Not for digging the garden out, but great for scooping compost. So, like the day, that's going to be stored away from frost free, so it's going to go into a glass house or a tunnel somewhere where it's going to bring it on again. And we're always asked the question, when can I plant it out? And traditionally it's the third week in May they can go outside. So dahlias don't go planted directly into the ground. Started off like begonias in pots. Now these are nice fancy pots because these are going to remain in this position. Now you can get all your pots and then transplant them in the garden when they're ready to go out. Alright? So that's the begonias there now. So the key point you need to remember, when the frost comes, take them in and you cut off the vegetation. A question was asked earlier on, when do I cut back my flowering plants? So when they start to die back, that's the time that dahlias you will bring them in, begonias you bring them in, and again put them in moist compost and put them somewhere where it's frost free. So what I'm going to say, we'll come back to these then later on. Now the next one I'm going to do is lilies. So you can see all the beautiful lilies we have here now. These are what we call the oriental lilies, and many people refer to them as tree lilies because they grow so tall. They can grow when you see the little children on the package, you know they're big. They can grow up to 5 to 6 feet tall. And you can see they come in all different shades. There's two probably main groups of lilies. We have the Asiacs and the Orientals. These are the Orientals give you the nice aromas, fragrant lilies. But they tend to prefer, they need more loamy and a peat-based soil is what they prefer, more acidic I should say, because they don't really like any just random soil. The Asiacs types will go in any soil. And the Asiacs lilies tend to be more upright, they face up, and they're not as fussy in the soil that they require. But the Oriental I would use ericaceous acidic compost. Now they can actually go directly into the ground. The question we were asked again from one of the Instagram people was, can I put the bulbs directly into the ground? That depends on which bulb you have. So again, ones that are frost tend like the begonias and your dahlias do not go directly into the ground. But the lilies can, but they don't want to be sitting in water, so make sure that it's free draining. Now note that there's 5 here again, so the packet contains a nice mix in that one there, you can see it there. Just remember, anything I'm talking about here today is available both in Carlo and Kilquade and on our online store then as well. Alright, so you can go in, they're all there, so you can see, when the weather's not good, people are at home these rainy days and the weather forecast is not good for the weekend, you're too strong, thrown up, so if you don't get out, you can pop online and it will be available there. Now, you can see the root facing down. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. And I love when I'm planting in the garden, I like the odd numbers. Okay, so all you do, lilies tend to be planted deeper. Now you have to remember that they're growing tall, especially these big guys there. You can plant them 6 to 8 inches. Okay, so 15 to 20 centimetres. In the pot here, I'm going to pop them down. You can see compared to when I planted begonias, the depth I'm going down deeper. But these aren't a tall variety. If you're going to bigger varieties, you can go down deeper again. Again, it's a question we're always asked, how deep do you go down, depending on the plant. I'm going to face them down. So I have 5 in that pot there now. And again, it's nice to have, I tend to cram. I think it always looks better. More in pots of containers, the more you put in, the fuller it is, and also it gives them more stability when they're coming up together. So they're down in the pot. So again, I'll just cover that over. Now, unlike the begonias and the dahlias, I don't have to put this frost-free place. I can pop this outside. Now, cover it over. Now, just firm it in. Your water will do your firming. You don't have to worry about firming in too much. And another thing then as well, when you're planting anything in pot, or people tend to fill the pot up to the brim. That's very fine when it's outside, but in the summer then and you want to water the plant, then it can't, water won't stay. So I always have that down a ½ inch. So now when that gets water, it'll stay there, especially when you have loads of plants in your foliage then you want to go get the water and it'll be able to stay there. So the key thing about any of the plants that we're putting in the pots is that you have drainage holes. Okay, so anything I have here, they have the drainage holes in them, in the gravel in the bottom. Now in any of the pots they come, these bigger ones now come with a little hole marked, and all you do is you can use a wood bit drill and drill them out. Very important you put anything outside. The reason they don't have the holes drilled through, if you're using these indoors then you wouldn't want them on through a wooden floor, so you can actually have them indoors or outdoors. The beauty about all the pots I'm showing you here today, they're all L-hole pots and they're all fully recycled. So they're all made from recycled plastic. So again, they're environment friendly pots. Now that's what I'm showing you on bulbs then, okay? So bulbs is a very generic term for all these kind of plants that we have. So what I'm going to show you now, I'm going to show you some perennials which are grown this time of year and available in the garden centres. I was asked the other day about alliums. Alliums are first sunflower bulbs, but they're planted in the autumn, so they're actually up now. So again, it doesn't be confusing people because it's probably one of the first sunflower plants, so they're available next autumn. Now, when you plant any bulbs, you're working about 5 months to 6 months ahead. And so, anyone that's looking for daffodils and things, they were planted 5 and 6 months ago. So, if you're doing your planting now, you'll be rewarded later on. So what I have here now, this is what I planted earlier. So again, last September, these were little deadheads. So again, you have to have the vision to plant now to get your reward in the summer. So you can see they look amazing. And I basically crammed the pot. And when you cram the pot then, they don't fall over. The wind won't blow them over because like soldiers, they'll stand together. So that's one that was planted earlier. So that's what you're thinking ahead of what you're going to get. Now, a very popular plant is what we call the peony rose. And these are available this time of year again. So I'll show you the different flowers that we have. These are actually a couple of new varieties that you can see here now. Now, unlike all the other plants, and the begonias and the dahlias which I showed you, and the lilies, they will all flower this year. Often I get people come back to me and say, oh, I have those plants, they never flowered. Peonies are slow burners. Now, you might get one flower this year, you might get 0. So don't panic. I put them in pots and I leave them on for 3 to 5 years. I have peony roses that are over 40 years old. So these are only babies. Okay, so, and what will happen, they'll get 1 flower, 2 flowers. And again, they're slow burners. If you move them, they don't, sulky movers, they don't like to be moved. I have Sarah Bernhardt. It's a really old-fashioned, traditional one. Really easy in the garden. And again, lovely cut flowers. They're really flamboyant, showy, and they're very much back in vogue, all the peonies. They really are the must-have in the herbaceous perennials. Now I have another one here. And this one's where you have the pinks there in the packet. So you have a combination then of what you get. There's 2 in the packet. So when you plant them, put them away, water them, and think 3 to 5 year plan. I know if you're not patient, you can come and buy them in the garden centre where they will be flowering. But these are great value because they are, as you know, if someone's going on for 3 to 5 years, they will be more expensive, but fantastic in the garden. Now, the problem in the garden with all peonies is when they're looking good and they're in full flower, that's when everybody comes in and they look for the plant support. They say, it's after raining. And guarantee you, when your peonies are looking fantastic, it's going to rain. And then they're in a heat then. So I say, you don't put the stabilizers on the bag when the child has fallen off. You put them on before. So what you do, these are back to your plant supports here now again. I put them over the peony roses in the garden. Again, it shows you where the plant is, and then they'll grow up through it. So that's in my own garden there. Then, as you can see, the peony rose grows up through the supports. So it's sheltering it there as well, and the plant's ready to come out. And this is what you end up with then. So you see that there now, see. So when it rains or wind comes, they're not going to be in a heap. Alright? The one tip for peony roses, they don't like to be planted deep. If you plant them deep, they won't flower. So just cover them over, and again, a nice rich fertile soil. Alright? So again, these are back to what we were showing you earlier on. These are your supports here. So again, when you put the peony in the ground, put your support over it. Now I haven't separated, actually two supports here, so put that directly over it, and as the peony grows, it will come up through it. You'd be surprised that everybody only looks for the support when the plant after falling goes. So do it the other way around, put them over and let them grow up through it. Now I have another couple of perennials I'll show you here now. These are really going to confuse you. Agapanthus. Now, Agapanthus, or the Nile lily, or the African lily, you can see they come in lovely shades. They used to be only available in blues and whites, now they're in bi-colours. So again, the real tip with these on the old, say the Agapanthus, the Africanus, was that they needed a tight pot. Otherwise, if they got a real lovely loam, they wouldn't flower. They need hungry. But there's a lot of new varieties now, and they'll actually flower within the first season, and they're very easy. Now, we're only February, and you look at this one now, it's flowering already. So again, they'll flower from April right through to October. This is out of sync. Again, what happens if they're running nurseries and glass houses, they can get confused. A question that came through, how do the bulbs know when to grow? What triggers the bulbs to grow is the temperature. So the temperature of the soil, whether it's cold or hot, and that initiates the flower buds, or when they get the heat, that will trigger. So this one is a little bit, that will flower for the next few months. This is a dwarf variety, you can see. Often again, people will ask, how big will the flower grow, the plant grow? And usually, whatever the height is, that's the full height that it is. Now, if it's a 3 foot, then you know that's its height. So that's in the packet. Again, great value. If you buy a plant, you can see $14.95, and you'll have 2 plants in that for a fraction of the price. So great value to get them in and let them grow away. Now, another couple of perennials. Shouldn't have this one, my favourites, Mount Grisha, called it down the country, or crocosmia. This particular one is called crocosmia lucifer. And again, really vibrant red. See what we call great value. You buy this packet here now, it's $8.95. If you buy it later on in the garden centre in the pot, you're going to be paying double the price. You can see the combs, and plant them massed together. They look fantastic. I plant them in the herbaceous border, and by doing that then they support each other. But again, I use the rings again, plant them through it. Now, contrast, there's a lovely yellow one then, George Davis, a lot smaller plant. This will go to 4 to 5 feet, and this will grow to a couple of feet. I'll give you an example in my own garden here. That's it in the red. And this is where I'm using the hot board then. You can see the lovely red crocosmia lucida there, and again playing off with the yellow. So fantastic plant in the perennial boards, and they will flower from late July right through to the summer. So they'll spread very easy. You don't have to worry about digging these up. Same with the peonies. These are fully hardy, so you can, unlike the begonias in days where you have to take them up, they can stay in the ground all year round. Now that's to give you an insight onto some of those. There's many different types, there's only a fraction here of the day. So go online, and if you want to go online, call in store to Carlo up in Quaid in store, and you can see what we have, and we'll gladly help you out and give you what bulb for what soil you require. The last thing we're going to cover this time of year we have is the bulbs. Now garlic and onions can be planted in October, gets them off to an earlier start. You can also get them in there now. So these are onions. And basically what an onion is, it's one onion seed that's been grown on for a year, and to speed up the process. So, because we have short summers now, so that's the whole reason. So that's what we call an onion set. So it's start from a seed, so you've got a year's extra growth. You pop them in the ground now, usually 2 to 3 times their height and about 4 inches apart, but you put them in the ground. Now, you can see, you have red barrel, purple ones again, the same idea again. Onions require free draining soil, they don't like it heavy or wet. So nice free, if you don't have, you do them on drills or a raised bed. Now, we have your garlic here. Now, most of the garlic, as you know, around the world, any garlic you buy in a supermarket, I can guarantee it came from China. When you have 1 clove of garlic that you've grown yourself, the taste is so unbelievably strong compared to this. Now, I'm going to open one of these and show you the biggest mistake that people do with these, because we only find this out when they come back to us. This is an onion bulb. This is a clove. So when you plant 1 clove, that will turn into 1 bulb. And often the mistake many people tend to make is planting the whole thing. So you can see, look how many you're going to get out of that 1 plant. And each one of those, you can see, they will grow into 1 bulb. Now when you are, say, digging up onions, you can actually pull onions out of the ground. You can't pull garlic out of the ground because it puts these lovely strong roots, so you have to dig garlic out of the ground. And garlic has many medicinal purposes, but again, what basic thing about it is that it can be used to deter pests, like carrot fly. So what I do is I plant this in the garden, leave that there. When you have drills, you can see in this picture, what I do, I plant the carrots in drills and then put the garlic beside it. The beauty about doing that is that the garlic will deter the carrot root fly. And also that the deterrent of carrot root fly is actually a 2-foot wall around it. But when you do thin out your carrots, what you do, you can actually get some garlic, break it up, and the smell, the aroma from the garlic will actually stop what you call the carrot root fly. So again, get those in now. Now feed is the most important thing. You don't get out of the garden what you put into it. So feed-wise, so anything in the pots and containers, you can use the little grannies, and that can last for 6 months. Now anything in the garden then, we have a lovely organic range here now, which is a granular fertilizer. So this can be applied when soil temperature is about 7 to 8 degrees, usually around April when you apply this. So this will go for any fruit plants, bulbs that are in the garden, veg, anything. So it's basically all rounded. So it takes the guessing out of it. But don't apply it until the soil temperature is around 7 or 8 degrees, and you can look out for the forecast. Alright? So that's one little tool. Again, you get gadgets. That's the best hand trowel in the garden. Again, planting near your bulbs or anything, digging up, especially if you're digging up garlic, you want something strong like that, and that's your trusted hand tool within the garden. So I hope I've given you a good all-round start for what you can do with planting some bulbs and some veg plants.